Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today?
Good.
How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio.
Welcome to First Contact Radio.
To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
arrived. To demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand the truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact. Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here. Today is the 9th of May. So, same sun sign, Taurus. Moon sign, same as yesterday, Virgo. So we have two earth signs, Virgo and Taurus. Earth is the final practicality of the energy. Take the fire, the water, the air, you mix it together, you got earth. So we have double earth. Earth practicality, that's what we're working with today. We had a trine going on between Pluto and Virgo. Happened at just a couple hours ago. Later this afternoon, we got a trine going on between the moon, Virgo, and the sun, Taurus. So nice, good, positive energy between these two earth signs. And then that would be the extent of the trines, triangles, things we want to look for here. So that's what we're dealing with today. I'll get into a bit more of that as we continue on. The numerology for today is a number 3. We know all about the number 3, right? What the 3 is about. It's all about change. It's about imagination, creativity. The tarot card that represents it would be the tarot card of the Empress. Alright, and let me show you how we arrived at that number here. You have the 5 plus the 9 plus the 2 plus the 0 plus the 1 plus the 4. All of that adds together to a 21. 2 plus 1 is 3. There you have the 3. Here's our Empress for today. You've seen the Empress many times. Imagination, creativity, Hebrew letter Deleth, meaning door. So you enter the door of imagination, or through your imagination. The Empress is pregnant. The Earth Mother is pregnant with life, the life that we create from the imagination that we bring forth. Okay? And then, of course, we have the Virgo, the Hermit, representing the moon sign, shining the light high, and the Hierophant, which is the spiritual teacher, teaching us that we need to hook together the spiritual and the physical. So these are 3 of the energies we're working with today. Okay? Hierophant, Hermit. And so I like to use these as guides, looking at the course of today so I can understand a little bit more what the day is about. Of course, there's so much more to it than just that, because this numerology is only based on the Gregorian calendar. And so we're just limited by that as well. Same with, okay? Now, it's our positioning here on the tree. Here's the Empress, between wisdom and understanding. So imagination is the bridge between what we learn and what we understand. And again, it opens the doorway to that inner temple here. Hierophant over here, bringing what we learn down, being humbled by what we've learned. And then, of course, the other one is the Hermit, which is right here. Going from mercy, that humility, back to the heart. And part of the lesson is holding the lantern high for others to see. Okay. Our current moon phase, 73% of the way full. Next week we'll be at a full moon. Right here, our sky tells us that the waxing gibbous moon forms a curving line tonight with Mars to its left and Spica to Mars's lower left. The Mayan Oracle, we're at a 9-tone day, which is called the solar tone of intention. The monkey is our symbol for today, so it's the solar or the intention of magic and playfulness. Our guide for today is the hand of accomplishment. We have the like-minded energies, our star, shining bright, the brilliance within us. Challenge for today is the dragon, which is our birth, nurturing ourselves, and the hidden power is our love, our heart. The phrase for today is I pulse in order to play, realizing illusion. I seal the process of magic with the solar tone of intention. I am guided by the power of accomplishment. Solar wind, 379.6 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is 2 at the moment, but expected to rise into their unsettled area out of the 4. Got the big coronal hole going down here lower, and it does indicate that there will be some wind that will hit us over the next couple days. So over the weekend, Sunday and Monday is what it shows here, the 11th and 12th. M-class flare possibility hangs at 40% for the next 24 to 48 hours, while X-class is down to 5%. And geomagnetic storm activity is low. However, it does increase into higher latitudes, up to 45% the next 48 hours. And in the mid-latitudes, it does go up to 35%. So there is some activity out there to be aware of. All right. And let's just move along here to the next date on the Jewish calendar, which is right here. Omer Day 24, 9 Liar is the day. And that gets us started with all the energies we're dealing with for today. So just kind of mix them all together. Use what you can. And as you go out into the world, kind of see how the understandings of what today's energy is about, if it helps you to understand and get through the day a little bit better. That's the idea, to see how you can use this. And if you only take one piece of this information and you find it to be helpful, then sometimes that's enough. It's enough to keep us on track with where we're going and what we're doing. Sometimes we just need these little guides along the way. Okay, spiritual guides, markers that are outside of the physical into the other realm. All right, UFO news is up next. Let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. Today's UFO news takes us out to Turkey for our first sighting. This was a UFO chased by a military jet and helicopter in Turkey. UFO, military helicopters. Okay, the email report came in today from Turkey, recording a military helicopter and F-5 jet chasing a UFO. It would be cool if we had some video of it, but the photos on this site attest to them being real. The photos are 4.5 megabytes in size, straight out of the camera. I told them to change it so that the site loads faster, but this is some proof of them being real. The event date was the 22nd of April, 2014, Tuesday, 13:30 waters of Seferihisar, Dolgan Bay in realized. That day, when the treasures of the land identified and photographed the UFO, then it emerges very fast and suddenly maneuvers. The F-5 aircraft military helicopter in the same frame of 7 to 8 individual photos. Okay, just a minute, 4-minute 42-second video. There we go, there's our F-5. And as we continue to move along, there we go. Alright. So, definitely getting them both in the shot. What do you think this is? What kind of craft? We obviously see that it is something that is not obviously ours, because we wouldn't be chasing it if it was. Okay, an object in question. Alright, good shot. Moving on. Now we're going to go to the next day, the 23rd, over to Cancun, Mexico. A little object in question there. Hey guys, check out this MUFON report. If you stop the video and place it, the UFO actually does have a triangle shape. Sure, this could be a secret TR-3B the military has, but the military got the design and propulsion from aliens, not in the U.S. military area, so this has to be alien. It must have been about 8:30 p.m. when I observed something like a rectangle in the distance. It seemed to be hovering over the Caribbean Sea, south of Isle Mujeres in Cancun. I noticed this phenomena from the 5th floor of the Hyatt Regency in Cancun, where I was staying for about a week. The object was hovering over the water. I was fast enough to capture the object on HD video camera. It stays still for about 2 minutes and disappears. You can see it disappear in the video. It was very dark, clear night with a few clouds here and there, but the sky was very clear. There were no planes in the area at the time the UFO appeared. It appeared as a gray and long rectangular object. I would thus like to share the video with like-minded people who have an interest in the UFO phenomena. It's up to the general public to decide if there's anything otherworldly or just a phenomena in the night sky. Okay, so there we go. Definitely is a phenomena in the night sky. Perhaps a phenomena from another worldly place. Alright, moving on. Next we're going to go to Eagle Rock, California. This goes back to June 27th, 2011. Unusual aerial activity was observed over Eagle Rock. The event's video, which shows apparently 2 unidentified aerial objects, has been spread not only in UFO blogs but also in the mainstream media. These UFOs were spotted near the home of the reporting witness in Eagle Rock between 9 and 11 a.m., walking his dog when he observed the first object, in which he thought he saw a balloon. He also noticed 2 other people watching the same object in the sky. He ran inside to take the video and started recording the event. Here we have the event itself. Alright, 2-minute 30-second video. There's our object in question. Alright, pretty cool. Good sighting. It does at times look like 2, doesn't it? Looks like 1 and 2, the way it's just sort of flashing and blinking. Yeah, that's what it talks about when it slows down, how it starts to morph. Okay. Pretty cool. Moving on. Alright, yesterday I showed you a video of Afghanistan. Asked if you thought it was a hoax or not. Well, we apparently got an answer already. This video of a triangle UFO over a TR-3B attacking a Taliban camp in Azzadabad in March 2014 is being published by a lot of UFO websites, but it was a hoax. The CGI made video by a well-known YouTube channel, Section 51. Okay, this is the edited video right here. We saw this yesterday. Okay, and we could see the UFO overhead, and then it's going to start shooting down upon this village. Alright, so that's what we saw yesterday. That's the one that was edited together. But let's see, this says this was the original recorded by the U.S. Marines in Iraq. And as we can see, there is nothing in the sky above this. And I'm just going to move forward. It's minute 52. Alright, let me backtrack here. Alright, so we can see there's no UFOs there, only U.S. military. Alright, wow, they just destroyed that whole village. Hopefully there were no innocent people in there. Okay, interesting UFO activity in the sky above Newport Beach, California. This was filmed on April 18th through May 6th from my deck in Newport Beach. There's a high amount of UFO activity. The video covers 12 plus UFO captures filmed during the day and the night. We highlighted the best clips from the past few weeks. The first capture features an amazing morphing UFO that shows signs, electromagnetic energy emanating from the craft. At 1:08, the sightings of the low-flying orb in my neighborhood at 3:37. I've never seen orbs fly this low. Night vision orbs and fast walker orbs filmed with my Gen 3 LRS Scout. Also, a great sighting happened at the studio while working this video. We decided to take a break from the arduous process of video editing and went for a walk outside to relax. While sitting on the grass, we noticed a large bright light UFO in the sky above us. It was hovering slowly, invisible to the naked eye. I ran inside, grabbed my studio camera, and captured a few shots of this amazingly large craft. It was also my birthday and a great present. The last capture was at 2012-11, shows a single orb and a cluster of orbs flying in sync, which are very low altitude, the same tree line as in Newport Beach, California. The video captured with a Canon 70 camera and a Canon telephoto lens EF. Okay, so there's one. The video is 14 minutes in length. So there's 12 sightings on here. A lot of great sightings that are captured out there. Definitely a lot of great ones. And I'm just going to kind of zip through so you can see some of the variety of UFOs that were captured. Pretty cool, one person's just capturing so many UFOs. Some people go whole lifetimes never seeing one UFO, and here you've got someone who is very adept at capturing them. Alright. So all kind of great shots here. Alright. Says this was submitted by Jim Martin. So if Jim is the one who's capturing this, good job, Jim. Alright, let me move on from here. The video is available, firstcontactradio.com. Now we're going to go to New Zealand. We got some night vision right here. While checking through older time-lapse footage taken on Wednesday, the 27th of November last year at 10:42 p.m., I found this gem. Camera was on autopilot. Taking a time-lapse of Orion, I had just moved to the coast bay of Plenty, New Zealand, between Tauranga and Waitangi. Alright, it's 2-minute, 10-second video. And we're seeing our object right there. Again, it looks like it makes, yeah, it's not what you see a conventional airplane make, right? Makes a nice, good, to the left and then back up. Oh. Yeah, that's a real good shot. Good shot over New Zealand. And last, over New York, cone-shaped UFO photographed over Lake Ontario. Jim Montana stood on the dock of Braddock Bay Marina Wednesday night, making long exposure photographs of a clear dark blue sky with twinkling stars being overrun from the west by a dense mass of clouds. It was a very dramatic situation with that front coming in. I was all excited about the photo, said Montanas, an experienced photographer who's now trying to make a living with his camera. When he checked the preview window on his digital SLR to see how the images looked, he was stunned to see something he hadn't been visible to the naked eye. 2 orange objects shaped like an inverted cone, if you prefer a disc with a conical. I was looking at these shapes on the back of my camera and saying, what is it? I don't believe in UFOs, but, you know, it's just one of those things. It was just cool. Montanas, who lives in Greece, was standing on the dock just out of the bay towards the northwest when the objects were in that direction. The frames in which they appear were recorded at 9:34 p.m. He said he was shooting 15-second exposure, so his camera recorded images that weren't easily unaided seen unaided in Montañas, thus wasn't able to detect where the objects were moving. But at least one of them showed up in different places in several different frames, suggesting movement. Right? A lot more to the article. And these are the images that come from it. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, that is our UFO news. I'm going to jump away to a song. And when I get back, we're going to continue on with the Kryballion. We're going to wrap things up with that today. So stay tuned. This is Observation.
Another alien visitor claimed that his race had been looking in on us for centuries, and that they had in fact influenced the course of human history in some rather critical and startling ways.
Listen up. I am myself and I am someone else. Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't sound so crazy to you if you've seen what I've seen. Corridors of time, dimensions of space, traveling through the universe, from place to place. Don't arouse suspicion of a membrane gone insane. Everything is possible, just gotta see with an open mind. Winds of change are blowing through. Sounds are in the air. A distant voice calls to me. I hear it everywhere. Communication from beyond. A message for this world. Cosmic signals sent to Earth. Beep, 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 beep. Don't arouse suspicion of a membrane gone insane. Everything is possible, just gotta see with an open mind. Is anybody listening to what is being said? Perhaps it's quite important, this message in my head. Heed the call, stand your ground, trust yourself. My observation, that's my report. Don't arouse suspicion of a membrane gone insane. Everything is possible, just gotta see with an open mind.
Another alien visitor claimed.
Turn the microphone on because that really helps a lot for you to hear me. So, all right, there you go. Today we're going to wrap up the Kryballion. We've been talking about this now, and I think it's the last 7 weeks. So we've had a good opportunity to really go over this book pretty thoroughly. I don't know if you've had a chance to do any additional study outside of what we've been doing here. If you have, great. If not, no worries. The material is available. So let's jump into it. What we have here is, let's give ourselves a little refresher. This was the table of contents that kind of breaks it all down. Got the 7 principles: mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. The first of those principles, principle of mentalism, we talked about, and was in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chapters here. Mental transmutation, the all, the mental universe, the divine paradox, and the all in the all. basically letting us know that everything is comprised of the all. The all exists outside and inside of everything. There are many dimensional levels to this all, which is made up of energy, is what we call it, but it's more than just energy. And all of this energy, and that, for lack of a better word, that makes up this all, it corresponds with each other. It vibrates. It has different poles. It moves to different rhythms, or to a rhythm, back and forth. We learn the law of cause and effect. And then finally the principle of gender. Okay, so we've gone over quite a bit, and the last piece today is Hermetic Axioms. Here we go. The possession of knowledge, unless accompanied by a manifestation and expression in action, is like the hoarding of precious metals, a vain and foolish thing. Knowledge, like wealth, is intended for use. The law of use is universal, and he who violates it suffers by reason of his conflict with natural forces, the Kryballion. The Hermetic teachings, while always having been kept securely locked up in the minds of the fortunate possessors thereof, for reasons which we have already stated, were never intended to be merely stored away and secreted. The law of use is dwelt upon in the teachings, as you may see by reference to the above question from the Kryballion, which states it forcibly. Knowledge without use and expression is a vain thing, bringing no good to its possessor or to the race. Beware of the mental miserliness, and express into action that which you have learned. Study the axioms and the aphorisms, but practice them also. We give you some of the more important Hermetic axioms from the Kryballion, with a few comments much added to each. Make these your own and practice and use them, for they are not really your own until you have used them. To change your mood or mental state, change your vibration, the Kryballion. One may change his mental vibration by an effort of will in the direction of deliberately fixing the attention upon a more desirable state. Will directs the attention, and attention changes the vibration. Cultivate the art of attention by means of the will, and you have solved the secret of the mastery of moods and mental states. To destroy an undesirable rate of mental vibration, put into operation the principle of polarity and concentrate upon the opposite pole to that which you desire to suppress. Kill out the undesirable by changing its polarity, the Kryballion. One of the most important of the Hermetic formulas is based upon true scientific principles. We have shown you that a mental state and its opposite were merely the two poles of one thing, and that by mental transmutation the polarity might be reversed. This principle is known to modern psychologists who apply it to the breaking up of undesirable habits by bidding their students concentrate upon the opposite quality. If you are focused, or if you are possessed of fear, do not waste time trying to kill out fear, but instead cultivate the quality of courage, and the fear will disappear. Some writers have expressed this idea most forcibly by using the illustration of the dark room. You do not have to shovel out or sweep out the darkness, but by merely opening the shutters and letting in the light, the darkness has disappeared. To kill out a negative quality, concentrate upon the positive pole of that same quality, and the vibrations will gradually change from negative to positive, until finally you become polarized on the positive pole instead of the negative. The reverse is also true, as many have found out in their sorrow when they have allowed themselves to vibrate too constantly on the negative pole of things. By changing your polarity, you may master your moods, change your mental states, remake your disposition, build up your character. Much of the mental mastery of the advanced Hermetics is due to this application of polarity, which is one of the important aspects of mental transmutation. Remember the Hermetic axiom quoted previously, which says, mind, as well as metals and elements, may be transmuted from state to state, degree to degree, condition to condition, pole to pole, vibration to vibration. The Kryballion. The mastery of polarization is the mastery of the fundamental principles of mental transmutation or mental alchemy. For unless one acquires the art of changing his own polarity, he will be unable to affect his environment. An understanding of this principle will enable one to change his own polarity as well as that of others. But if he will but devote the time, care, and study to practice necessary to master the art, the principle is true, but the results obtained depend upon the persistent patience and practice of the student. Rhythm may be neutralized by an application of the art of polarization, the Kryballion. As we have explained in previous chapters, the Hermeticists hold that the principle of rhythm manifests on the mental plane as well as on the physical plane, and that the bewildering succession of moods, feelings, emotions, and other mental states are due to the backward and forward swing of the mental pendulum, which carries us from one extreme of feeling to the other. The Hermeticists also teach that the law of neutralization enables one, to a great extent, to overcome the operation of rhythm in consciousness. As we have explained, there is a higher plane of consciousness as well as the ordinary lower plane, and the master, by rising mentally to the higher plane, causes the swing of the mental pendulum to manifest on the lower plane, and he, dwelling on his higher plane, escapes the consciousness of the swing backward. This is effected by polarizing on the higher self, and thus raising the mental vibrations of the ego above those of the ordinary plane of consciousness. It is akin to rising above a thing and allowing it to pass beneath you. The advanced Hermeticist polarizes himself at the positive pole of his being, the I am pole rather than the pole of personality, and by refusing and denying the operation of rhythm, raises himself above its plane of consciousness, and by standing firm in his statement of being, he allows the pendulum to swing back on the lower plane without changing his polarity. This is accomplished by all individuals who have attained any degree of self-mastery, whether they understand the law or not. Such persons simply refuse to allow themselves to be swung back by the pendulum of mood and emotion. By steadfastly affirming in superiority, they remain polarized by the positive pole. The master, of course, attains a far greater degrees of proficiency because he understands the law which he is overcoming by a higher law, and by the use of his will he attains a degree of poise and mental steadfastness almost impossible of belief on the part of those who allow themselves to be swung backward and forward by the mental pendulum of moods and feelings. Remember always, however, you do not really destroy the principle of rhythm for that which is indestructible. You simply overcome one law by counterbalancing it with another, and thus maintain the equilibrium. The laws of balance and counterbalance are in operation on the mental as well as on the physical planes, and an understanding of these laws enables one to seem to overthrow the laws, whereas he is merely exerting a counterbalance. Nothing escapes the principles of cause and effect, but there are many planes of causation, and one may use the laws of the higher to overcome the laws of the lower. By an understanding of the practice of polarization, the Hermeticists rise to a higher plane of causation, and thus counterbalance the laws of the lower planes of causation. By rising of the planes of the ordinary causes, they become themselves, in a degree, causes instead of merely being caused. By being able to master their own moods and feelings, and by being able to neutralize rhythm, as we have already explained, they are able to escape a great part of the operations of cause and effect on the ordinary plane. The masses of people are carried along, obedient to their environment, the wills and the desires of others stronger than themselves, the effects of inherited tendencies, the suggestions of those about them, and other outward causes which tend to move them about on the chessboard of life like mere pawns. By rising above these influencing causes, the advanced Hermeticists seek a higher plane of mental action, and by dominating their moods, emotions, and impulses and feelings, they create for themselves new characters, qualities, and powers by which they overcome their ordinary environment, and thus become practically players instead of mere pawns. Such people help play the game of life understandingly, instead of being moved about this way and by that way by stronger influences and powers and wills. They use the principles of cause and effect instead of being used by it. Of course, even the highest are subject to the principle as it manifests on the higher planes, but on the lower planes of activity they are masters instead of slaves, as the Kryballion says. The wise ones serve on the higher, but rule on the lower. They obey the laws coming from above them, but on their own plane, and those below them they rule and give orders, and yet in doing so they form a part of the principle instead of opposing it. The wise man falls in with the law, and by understanding the movements he operates it instead of being its blind slave. Just as does the skilled swimmer turn this way and that, going and coming as he will instead of being as the log which is carried here and there, so it is the wise man as compared to the ordinary man. And yet both swimmer and log, wise man and fool, are subject to law. He who understands this is well on the road to mastery. The Kryballion. In conclusion, let us again call your attention to the Hermetic axiom. The Hermetic transmutation is a mental art, the Kryballion. In the above axiom, the Hermeticists teach that the great work of influencing one's environment is accomplished by mental power. The universe being wholly mental, it follows that it may be ruled by the mentality, and this truth it is found in explanation of all the phenomena and manifestations of the various mental powers which are attracting so much attention and study in these earlier years of the 20th century. Back of and under the teachings of the various cults and schools remains ever constant the principle of the mental substance of the universe. If the universe be mental in substantial nature, then it follows that mental transmutation must change the conditions and phenomena of the universe. If the universe is mental, then mind must be the highest power affecting its phenomena. If this be understood, then all the so-called miracles and wonder workings are seen plainly for what they are. The all is mind, the universe is mental, the Kryballion. That is it. So I think in this summary here we have some really great axioms that if we just were to look at these, and let me summarize each one. The possession of knowledge, unless accompanied by a manifestation and expression in action, is like hoarding of precious metals, a vain and foolish thing. Knowledge, like wealth, is intended for use. The law of use is universal, and he who violates it suffers by reason of his conflict in natural forces. To change your mood or mental state, change your vibration. To destroy an undesirable rate of mental vibration, put into operation the principle of polarity and concentrate upon the opposite pole to that which you desire to express. Kill out the undesirable by changing its polarity. Mind may be transmuted from state to state, degree to degree, condition to condition, pole to pole, vibration to vibration. Rhythm may be neutralized by an application of the art of polarization. Nothing escapes the principle of cause and effect, but there are planes of causation, and one may use the laws of higher to overcome the laws of lower. The wise ones serve the higher, but rule on the lower. They obey the laws coming from them, coming from above them, but on their own plane and those below them they rule and give orders, and yet in doing so they form a part of the principle instead of opposing it. The wise man falls in with the law, and by understanding its movements he operates instead of being a blind slave, just as does the skilled swimmer turn this way and that, going and coming as he will instead of being as the log which is carried here and there. So is the wise man as compared to the ordinary man, and yet both the swimmer and the log, wise man and fool, are subject to the law. He who understands this is well on his road to mastery. The Hermetic transmutation is a mental art. And finally, the all is mind, the universe is mental. So, I'd say that we've given this a very good summary. Every week we've gone over this, twice a week for the last 7 weeks. You should understand it by now. Now it's just a matter of putting it into practice, and many of you probably already have started to doing that. Again, this is a good confirmation and affirmation to what we already know about the mind. We think about the life and teachings of the masters of the Far East, what we learned from the masters, what we learned from Jesus and Buddha, and all of those others who were part of that process. We learned that the mind creates everything, and that fits right into this here. So we could see how powerful the mind is, and we could see that we can control our own minds. We can take charge of what's going on, or we could let go of our minds and we could allow others to take charge of it. And in the society we live in these days, both of these things are occurring. We have those out there who are taking charge of their own minds for good purposes. We have those who are taking charge of other minds because they have other purposes. And we know who they are. We understand what's going on out there. Unfortunately, there are many who are unaware that they are being controlled because the control has been going on for such a long period of time that it is beyond most people to even understand. And when you bring the subject to them, they're just going to deny it. People don't want to know that they've been controlled or they've been fooled. But we can see very easily how this can occur. The very basic principles of the universe. And when we learn how to use these principles, when we put them into practice, it makes all the difference in the world. And with everything, things can be used for good, things can be used for bad, because we can see all this wisdom is just wisdom, but it has different poles, different extremes to it. We can use this wisdom for one extreme or the other, depending on what your intent is. And we understand, down here on Earth, some of the intents that go on are based on greed. And for that reason, we are seeing all the wars and all the problems that we see in the world. What we need to do is we need to take charge of our minds. We need to understand the higher place that we can go. And when we all sit in that spiritual center, when we allow that spirituality be the thing that is our guiding force, when we allow that spirituality be the higher level that we look at so that we can affect the lower level, we'll be much better off. But as long as we're caught only in this physical world and we're not looking at the fire, the water, the air that make up the physical world, you could understand the problems that we would have and are continuing to have. So for those who are rising above the situation, thumbs up to you. Awesome. Good job. Those who are working on it, keep working on it. Keep practicing. And those who aren't even paying attention to it, give it a shot. You might learn something from it that will be pretty life-changing for you. Even if you take only one piece of the puzzle and you perfect learning one piece of the puzzle, that's better than none at all. All right? All right. Let's move on from there. Let's move on from there. And again, the links are available. The Kryballion link is there, so you can check it out. And just go back over the next 7 weeks. You got all the chapters, or just any one of those. Just click on the link, and you can see the indexes right there to everything you need. All right, here's an article from In5D. Which of the 7 stages of spiritual awakening did you experience? By Kim Hutchison. Spiritual seekers who are on the path to re-enlightenment tend to fall into one of the following 7 categories. A person can go through these levels in almost any order. That's because we all awaken in our own way, at our own pace. For instance, some people need multiple catalysts in order to fully own their spiritual power, so they may continue to cycle back to the first level. Others may skip several stages and end up living the life their soul intended without having gone through the same trials. At whichever stage you find yourself, trust that you are exactly where you need to be at this time. Also know that if you repeat a certain stage, you are helping to solidify the lesson. And here are the different 7 levels or stages. First one is the catalyst. A life-changing, paradigm-shifting event jolts you awake. Alternatively, you gather a series of gentler, minor awakenings occur until you are fully aware and awake. Some of these examples might be near-death experiences, life-threatening illnesses, depression, breakdown, spirit visitation, meeting one's soulmates. And the emotions people deal with here are disbelief, shock, awe, having a hard time believing it happened, fear, not understanding what's happening. But once we get past the catalyst, then we go to a shift in perception where we begin to see things differently that alters how we perceive our life. These could come about, at our job, dissatisfied with our job, our relationships, desire to move, need a change of scenery, loss of interest in the things we're doing, questioning the status quo. And all of these things make us uncomfortable. They bring discomfort to our life. Life no longer feels like it fits us. We feel confused, unclear about what is happening. You don't know how to deal with it. Okay? Then we move from there to the journey of discovery. Your field of awareness expands and new information streams in. You experience synchronicities, premonitions, hunches come true. You have prophetic dreams and visions. and you're seeing and hearing things that others don't. And the emotions are thrills and chills, feeling titillated but also a bit frightened each time your connection with the spirit realm. Isolation, not feeling comfortable sharing your experience with friends and family and not knowing where to turn for help or guidance. You move on from there, seeking to understand. You begin to see magic in the mundane. You have a thirst for spiritual knowledge, voracious reading, seeking like-minded individuals with whom to share your experiences, going to psychics, intuitives for readings, attending classes and workshops, traveling to sacred places, seeking your true purpose. These emotions that usually go with this are excitement, joy, exhilaration, craving more experiences, wanting to share your experiences, or impatience, feeling like you can't learn fast enough. And then fifth, developing the spiritual gifts, you begin to consciously seek a deeper connection with Source, meditating, doing Qigong, yoga, and other mindful activities, creating, painting, writing, singing, studying healing modalities, honoring your intuition, strengthening your relationship with your spiritual guides, wanting to heal the world. And the emotions from here, you get joy, feeling a reconnection with your higher self and your source, or eagerness, wanting to share your gifts with others. 6, owning your spiritual gifts. You start to trust your connection with the source, answering your own questions and healing yourself, teaching, mentoring, guiding, healing others, pruning and purging outmoded beliefs, eliminating stress, living with integrity and speaking your truth, being your own role model and forging your own unique path. Emotions associated with this often happiness, being able to help yourselves and others, and confidence, knowing you are on the right path. And the 7th of these is reintegrating with your soul. You begin to manifest a life that is in true alignment with your higher self. There's a loss of previous fears, interests, and desires, letting go of the need to control, worry, and plan, living more fully in the now, creating, playing, and laughing with childlike abandon, thinking about life outside of 3D Earth. And this is where you have peacefulness, finding that inner stillness and detachment. You're no longer wrapped up in the drama of ego. Okay, so very good summary and very good good thing we all go through these. All go through these 7 points, and with everything else, it's all about an awareness. You know, being aware of where you are at any given point in time in the universe is important. Sure, we're on planet Earth, but are we? If Earth is just a vibration of energy, and this vibration of energy is existing in space, then we are just simply existing in a vibration of energy that we're perceiving as being physical. But it's not physical by any means at all, except in one level of perception. That's why we have the ability to be able to understand a bit more where we're at, because there are so many levels. We're not just physical. So when we learn to tap into the fire, the water, the air, when we learn to really understand and make spirit a part of what we're doing on a regular basis, all of the magic of what is here really starts to unfold, because there is so much more than just the physical. So it goes back to the Hierophant, the Hebrew letter Vav. Nail or hook means hooking together that spiritual with the physical, because the two go hand in hand. Unfortunately, we have forgotten that, because it isn't really taught a lot. Sure, the teachers or the churches that people go to give them some degree or another of this, but there's a lot of limitations and a lot of fears that the churches do put out, unfortunately, and, well, we need to learn to overcome that and not get caught up in everything that the religions are all about. Take the wisdom that they have to share, but the traditions and the things that they do that limit and are fearful, you need to understand the fearfulness and be able to step away, because life's not about fear. It's about love, it's about faith, it's about courage, strength, so much more than all of the other things that the physical world wants to convince us is real. All right, let's go over to our message for today. Today's channeled message comes to us from SaLuSa.
SaLuSa.
May 2nd, 2014.
We come with good news at a time when most countries are experiencing change or uncertainty.
The light and dark are clearly separating as the vibrations are being lifted, and it is the light that is lifting up more speedily than any time previously. This will ultimately lead to a complete separation as the light moves into a higher dimension. An indication of the changes is already apparent in some countries, where populations are experiencing a certain calmness and rising above the lower vibrations. Whereas in the past they have resulted in a more aggressive and violent response to problems encountered. Now there is a notable change in attitude where more people are looking for peaceful settlements, and are sufficiently influential to achieve them. This will continue to be the response where circumstances exist that could lead to confrontation. The warmongers are still intent on resolving issues their way, but now the pendulum swings to more peaceful solutions that cannot be ignored. Out of the chaos you are experiencing will come changes that will be very welcome, and will lead to worldwide peace. It means that there will be many changes where the top people and governments are concerned, and the lead will be taken from President Obama. In each era where important changes are necessary, you will find that the right people are always on hand to lead the way. We would not pretend that there are easy times ahead, when in fact the cleansing that is taking place means that it will get worse before it gets better. Some of it is the clearing of ages-old karma, as the new age must have a clean sheet, without the responsibilities of mistakes that have been made in the past. The new way of thinking is gathering pace and cannot be ignored indefinitely. In the present situation on Earth, much needs to be done to bring hostilities to an end, and we can intervene to establish peace if we are called upon to do so. Over a long period of time we have stepped up our presence in your skies, and rest assured we have absolute protection against any action intended to destroy us and our craft. There have been times when circumstances were different, and allowance was made to speed up your evolution by giving you the opportunity to acquire certain crashed spacecraft. In fact, your Dark Ones have advanced very rapidly, but be assured their activities are very much under our control. Our role will be to advance your knowledge even further, but not until the time is right and you can be trusted with it. The Dark Ones think only of their personal power and gain, but they will not achieve the goals that they have in mind. Your beautiful Earth has been almost destroyed by the many wars that have taken place. It is in a sorry state and Mother Earth has appealed to us for help. We are pleased to tell you that a limit to the damage has been reached, and we have already prevented more nuclear wars and the resultant worldwide damage. From here on the Earth will no longer be subjected to destruction or poisoning, and when the time is appropriate you shall witness a wonderful cleansing and restoration to bring it back to its original pristine condition. With our technologies you will be surprised at how quickly the changes can be made. We shall work together and encourage you to take more responsibility for your planet. Great times lie ahead, and you have much to catch up upon so that you can eventually take your place alongside of us. The changes that lie ahead are going to take you way beyond your dreams, so that you may eventually become cosmic beings. Life for you has just about begun, and the seeds for change are well advanced. Only those of you that have earned a place in the higher dimensions can go forward, and we commend you for having risen above the challenges that have been placed before you. Each of you have had the same opportunity to evolve through this period, but some have become mired in the lower vibrations and unable to rise up sufficiently to move on. However, it is no disgrace to take longer to find your way, and it is not held against you in any way. Indeed, you will receive more help to enable you to progress until you too will be ready to ascend. To use one of your expressions, keep your head above water at all times, knowing that these times are a prelude to the end of the cycle. Every soul learns so much by experiencing the end times, and indeed by living lives in an environment that contains so much hostility. However, as we have often informed you, the challenges that you have encountered in the lower dimension have speeded up your evolution. It has been what you might call a fast track to the completion of your experiences. Also bear in mind that a long time ago you willingly volunteered to experience a journey into the darkness, knowing that we would always be with you. Very soon you will meet us in happy circumstances, as by then you will be on your path to full consciousness. Whatever experiences you have still to encounter, bear them with pride and joy, knowing that your time in duality is coming to an end. Once you reach the end of the present period you will not carry any old outstanding karma with you. You will already have learned the lessons that have been of importance to you, and are ready to commence another exciting period in your evolution. You are somewhat like a prisoner being released for the first time, and the world will be full of surprises and opportunities to follow your passions. At all times there are always more advanced souls who are able to help you on your journey. As a cosmic being, it will be your choice as to which path to travel, and there will be so many opportunities given to you. I am SaLuSa from Sirius, and feel your weariness but also joy of the realization that journey's end is so near. You have already started to enter the new energies, and in general terms it will bring about a more peaceful feeling. The galactic fleet draws ever nearer and is frequently seen in your skies, sometimes carrying out its responsibility to keep under control any attempt to start another nuclear war. I leave you with my blessings and love.
Thank you, SaLuSa.
Alright, very nice message from SaLuSa. Whenever I hear that word volunteer, it just always gives me a little chuckle. You remember when you volunteered? Just go down to Earth. It's going to be a fun time. Who wants to volunteer? And here we are. And are we having fun? I think we're kind of having all kind of different experiences down here, aren't we? So, and in the end, I know we're all glad that we're here. All glad that we volunteered. It's just sometimes there's a bit craziness that goes along down here, but I know I'm just preaching to the choir because you already know about the craziness. All right, let's get to our meditation for today. Wrap things up for the week. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale again. And just breathe in and out. Inhale and exhale. And as you inhale, imagine a wave of water moving in. And exhale, going back out, just like the waves along the beach, in and out, back and forth, to and fro. And just feel this rhythm within you. And as you feel this rhythm going back and forth, you understand that this rhythm is a rhythm of energy that vibrates within you. And that this energy that vibrates within you has poles to the energy. The one energy can be one extreme or the other, and that we have the ability with our minds to be able to move our place along that pole from one extreme to the next. And as we experience and feel this rhythm and this breathing, this vibration within us, we understand that all things that are happening to us and that will continue to happen are all part of a universal cause and effect, set in place a long time ago, set in motion a long time ago. And so we understand that as we move through, we are a part of this movement, a part of this change, and therefore have a responsibility on what is going to be affected and created by what we do today, what we did yesterday, what we will do tomorrow. And as we contemplate all of these things, we understand that the mind is the place where it all begins. And as we learn to reach these higher dimensions, these higher levels, we realize and understand that the higher levels work upon the lower. And if we want to affect a change in the physical world, we go to the mental plane. And there we affect the change that we want to see. So that change then moves down through the process into the physical. So just contemplate the process of manifestation as it takes place in life. Contemplate the principles that we have learned of this Hermetic philosophy. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. Let those ideas just reverberate through your consciousness and your unconsciousness. Contemplate the words of this affirmation. Today I emerge and I see that all God created me to be. My life is a celebration of love, inspiration and transformation. Pure appreciation and divine intelligence are the fuels that I run on. I am supercharged. The dynamic potential within me manifests as all needs met. Revelations of health and wholeness restore my body temple. I am a channel revealing the glory of God everywhere I go. This is my new set point. Gratefully, I live these words of truth. So be it. And allow those words of truth to express themselves through your being. Take a moment now to give thanks to the universe, to the energies around you and within you. Give thanks to the creative spirit of life that flows through you, that spirit of God that makes up all that you are, all that you ever have been, and all that you shall ever be. Give thanks to the guides that are around you, those who, though you may not see them, are there to assist you with this process of life. And give thanks to yourself for all that you do. Forgive your mistakes, for they are just ways of learning. And honor the positive things that you have done in life, for they encourage you to do more positive. Imagine wrapping your arms around yourself in a big bear hug, and just sending you a big bear hug of love, loving yourself first and foremost, and then allowing this feeling of love to express itself out in the world, so that others around may experience the love that you feel as well, simply by appreciating who they are, who you are, and all that has come before you to create and put you where you are at this moment. And lastly, let's just contemplate where we are at this moment, knowing that we are exactly where we are supposed to be. And open our minds to the wisdom and understanding that is coming our way this day. And just simply allow love to flow through us. And let's just imagine this love being sent around the world. Imagine the word love superimposed over the planet and then absorbing down into the planet. Imagine this love going up into the cosmos to our space brothers and sisters, and just imagine them feeling this love and sending back love to us as well. And just allow this feeling of love, this reciprocal feeling of love between ourselves and the earth and the cosmos and our space brothers and sisters and God and our guides and all that reside in this great, great pool of love. And let's just honor that and feel that and share that as we go into the world. So let our unconscious mind continue to feel those feelings and just share them as we move about throughout the day. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is our show for today. That's our show for the week. The links are available, so you can go back and check out all the stories we've done, the links to the Kryballion, the links to the other books. So there's a lot of information for you to continue absorbing, meditating on, learning from. I'll be back next week with more news and information. We'll continue on our journey as we learn more and more about spirit each and every day. I'll be back next week. Have an awesome weekend. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.